Hello everyone. This is what we're going to create today, creating a YouTube intro video using Photoshop CC. So here we go. Let me try again. Isn't it cool? Okay, so let's start from Photoshop. So this is the final layout I made in Photoshop. The dimension of 1280 pixel by 720 pixel, 1280 by 720. So the background layer, bottom layer, I have this kind of abstract image I created in Illustrator, and then I have two text layers and top layer for the logo. Let me rename it as a logo. Okay, so first we're going to create the bouncing effect of this welcome letters, WELCOME, 7 letters. Before we do that, we will have to separate individual letter into individual layers. So we can animate them, each letter, one by one. So select your welcome letter text layer, hold down the Control or right click, and choose rasterize layer style because I applied some layer style on it. The important thing is we just need to separate each letter into individual layer. So that's the idea. So there are 7 letters, WELCOME. So I'm going to add 6 more layers for my welcome text. Easiest way is I'm going to duplicate this layer. You can use this under here, duplicate layer, welcome copy, or Command J. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 layers. So from each welcome layer, I'm going to delete the letter. So my first layer on the bottom, I'm going to delete all the letters except letter W. Zoom out a little bit. Okay. So I'm selecting all 6 letters on this bottom layer and delete. And let me rename it as W so I can tell this is a W layer. Now this is supposed to be E layer. So I'm going to delete all the letters except letter E. And then this is supposed to be E layer. And same way for the letter L. Let me get rid of 2 letters also. So it's supposed to be L layer. Now for the letter C, delete WEL and delete ONE. And this will be C layer. Again, there are a lot of repetitions. And ME is gone. O layer. Supposed to be M layer. So let me delete all 5 letters first. And the last letter E is gone. M layer and the last. I delete all the letters except letter E, the last letter E, and rename it as E. so let me double check if I have one letter per layer correctly. So E, M, O, C, L, E, and W. Yeah, that is correct. Let me zoom out. And then next thing is I'm ready to apply kind of bouncing effect on individual letter. WELCOME, welcome. So go to Windows menu and open Timeline. There are two options: create video timeline or create frame animation. Let's try the create video timeline, the first one, and then click on this button. See? So now I have all timelines. Let me fit to window here. Before we apply that, we need to have some kind of guidelines. So let me zoom in to the letters, just like this. Open the ruler, Command R, and then let me create one guideline on the baseline of my letter form, and one more to maybe somewhere about here, and one more letter up there. Okay. We're going to use that guideline for the level and the height of a bouncing of each letter. Okay, so let me zoom out. Okay, let's start from the first letter W. So letter W is here. Once you click here, you're going to see that the hidden options of this. Okay, so the idea is I'm going to drop the letter W from the very top, and it will be bouncing on the first baseline, and it will be bouncing up to the top guideline and bouncing back and bouncing again to the second guideline, and it will go back to the baseline. So there will be certain numbers of keyframes. I'm thinking that there will be 6 keyframes per each letter. So let's do this. First, letter W is selected on your layer. Make sure you're selecting the W layer, and this time indicator is on 0 at the very beginning. And there are 3 options now: position, opacity, and the style. We're going to change only the position. So click on this stopwatch. Now see that this is the first keyframe. So from here, let me move up to 8 frames per second. You see that on the bottom? Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, right here on the bottom left. Okay, 8 frames per second. Let me insert another keyframe by clicking this add a keyframe button, little diamond shape. I have a second keyframe. Then I'm moving about 3 more frames from here. So current frame is 8, so go to like 11 frames per second. Insert another keyframe and another 3 frames, so 14, another keyframe. Now we're going to have another kind of a very tiny bouncing, so I'm going to add maybe just 2 frames more, 2, 16, and the last 2 more, 18. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different keyframes. So let's see how it works. So first, let me move my time indicator to the very beginning. So at the very beginning, I want to start dropping my letter W from the very top of the stage, like this. So it's gone. Once I move it, it's falling and hit the baseline. And on next keyframe, I want to make this letter W bounce back. Let me zoom in up to the top guidelines. So hold down the shift key so we can move it vertically like this. So at the very beginning, my letters coming down, falling down, hits the bottom baseline and bouncing back, and it's falling back to the very baseline again. And then on that fifth keyframe, I want to move it back to on the second guideline here and going back. Let me zoom out and see how it works. Rewind and play. See? It's kind of realistic. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to repeat the same steps for each letter. So let me hide now letter W. Now next letter is letter E. Okay. I'm going to add some kind of little bit different time gap in between each letter. So each letter will be falling down on the slightly different timeline. So letter W falling first, and then letter E next, L, C, O, M, E. It's a kind of a domino game. So maybe about this. I started dropping the letter W on 0 frame second. And the next letter, I'm going to start dropping 2 frames later. So frame number 2, frame second number 2 here. So insert the position, keyframe, that's the starting point. 8 frames plus 8, it's gonna be 10, new keyframe, and next is 3 more frames, that's what we did, it's 13, another 3, 16, and for the tiny bit bouncing, 2 more frames second, 18, and 20. Right? And next thing is we just need to change the location on each keyframe. So first one, letter E, let me zoom out a little bit using the move tool. Let me move this to here. See? On the third keyframe, let me zoom in. I need to make this bounce back to the top guideline right here. There you go. Hits the bottom and needs to bounce back to the second guideline. I keep pressing the shift key so I can move just vertically up and down. Okay, so see what happens. See? It's a very slight overlapping, but it looks pretty unnatural. So I will repeat the other letters using the same skills. Okay, next letter is letter L. Letter L. Letter L will start from 4 frames second here. So insert the first keyframe position. So plus 8. It's gonna be 12 frames second. New keyframe. And 3 frames second, 15. Another 3, 18. And 2 frame more, 20. Another 2 frames second, 22. Zoom out. L, go up. Oops, nope. Letter L, you go up, off the stage. Okay. Hits the bottom, third keyframe, zoom in, let me move it up to the top guideline. the bottom again and bouncing back to the second guideline. So this is done. Next letter, C. Okay, so letter C will start from 6 frame second. See here, position, plus 8, 14 frame second. That's where I'm going to have a second keyframe. Now plus 3, 17, another plus 3, 20, and another 2 frame second, 22, and the last 2 more frame second, 24. Now let's change the location, the position of that. So C starts from off stage, and second keyframe here, let me zoom in, it hits the bottom guideline, and on the third keyframe, bouncing back to the top guideline, hits the bottom again. Now on the fifth keyframe, hits the second keyframe, guideline here. Okay, now next letter, O. Repeat the same steps. Let me zoom out. W-E-L-C, maybe somewhere here. 8 frames second. I want to start dropping my letter O. So position, insert the keyframe, first keyframe, and then plus 8. It's going to be 16. 16. And plus 3, 19. Plus 3, 22. Now plus 2 more. 24 frames second. And the last, 26. Okay. Now from the very beginning, letter O, move it up, off stage, hits the bottom, and it will be bouncing back to the top guideline. So let me zoom in. And the fourth hits the bottom, and the fifth bouncing back to the second guideline and comes back to the bottom. So letter O is done. Now next letter M. Zoom out. Is excuse me. It's very kind of time consuming and labor intensive, but it's very effective. Letter M. Let's do letter M. Letter M will be coming somewhere here on frame second number 10. 10 frames second here. So hit position stopwatch to insert the keyframe. Plus 8 is gonna be 18. Second keyframe. Plus 3, 21. Another plus 3, 24. Now for the last two tiny bouncing, 2 more frames second, 26 and 28. Okay. Now let's change the location, the position of the letter M. Starting from off stage, very top. Oops. Here. Second keyframe hits the bottom, third one, let me zoom in. So it's a kind of a routine. I'm repeating the same steps. So on the third one, bouncing back to the very top guideline. Now it hits the bottom on the fifth keyframe, bouncing back to the second guideline, and hits the bottom again. So M is done. Next letter, the last letter E. Zoom out. Yeah, I keep just repeating. Maybe it's from somewhere here. On 12 frame second. Position. Plus 8 is gonna be 20. Plus 3, 23. Another plus 3, 26. Now plus 2, 28. And another plus 2 is a 1 second. So still 1 second animation. Okay, I just need to change the position of it on each keyframe. So letter E on the first keyframe, off stage from the very top. Oops. Here. Second hits the bottom. Third needs to bounce back to the top guideline. Zoom in. Hits the bottom on the fourth, on the fifth frame, bouncing back to the second guideline, and back to the bottom. It's done. So zoom out. Let's see how it works. Let me rewind. Play. Isn't it cool? Okay. Next thing is, once my welcome letter falling, bouncing, and once it settles down like this, maybe somewhere here after 1 second, maybe at 1 second because it's a 1 second animation so far. Then I want to make this my main logos kind of fading in. So go up. Now let's see what we have on this logo. First, I just want to change the opacity value, like a fading in effect. So insert first keyframe, and then let me zoom out a little bit. Maybe on 2 second mark here, insert another keyframe. Then here, the first keyframe here, I want to change the opacity value of this logo layer down to 0. And this will happen. Let's see. Play. Okay. And after that, I want to have the bottom letter, stay tuned. I want to change the style of that. I already applied some layer style, like auto glowing things. So let's do this. On 2 second, once my logo shows up on the bottom layer, layer 0, that's the where my text is, the stay tuned text is. Let's try the style from here to another 1 second and insert another keyframe. At the very beginning, on the first keyframe of my stay tuned text layer, my stay tuned. Oh boy, sorry, I did wrong. This is for my background layer. So let's do this for my stay tuned. Sorry, let's do it again from here. Stay tuned, style, and on 3 second, insert another keyframe. And at the very beginning, here, let me open stay tuned and then auto glowing things, double click. Let me change just the opacity value down to 0. Then it will be fading in like this. So I think we're done. Let's see. Rewind and play. Logo and stay tuned. Yeah, isn't it cool? Rewind, play again. Logo and stay tuned. That's it. And then let me save this file as just as the Photoshop file. I'm going to save it as an intro. This time maybe two because I have one already. And then let me export as a movie file. Go to export and render video. Intro2.mp4 into the same folder I have. Okay, and render. It's gonna be quite. It's only the 4.5 seconds animation. It's pretty quick and short. Okay, and let's take a look. Intro 2 MP4. Okay, full screen. Okay, let me hit. That's it. So welcome letters falling down, and my logo is fading in. My stay tuned fading in. That's cool, isn't it? Okay, thanks for watching.